So we know sugar's bad. Why is it bad? When we consume it or we consume a carbohydrate that turns to sugar, what's actually going on inside our body that's not good for us?
So there's two different things that happen. It depends on which types of sugar you're eating. They're not all created equal, and they're going to go one of two places. They're either glucose or turning into glucose, or they're fructose. And glucose is going to, or anything that turns into glucose is going to raise blood sugar, which then raises insulin and leptin. That triggers satiety, but it also triggers, if you're eating every couple hours, it's keeping your insulin bumped up, it's making you leptin resistant. All of that is going to lead to more fat storage, more inflammation, a whole lot of problems. But the bigger problem is fructose, because fructose goes straight to the liver. Now, ideally, it would be turned to glucose and stored for future energy, but the liver is a little place. There's not much room, and we're doing a lot of fructose. You know, if you look at the USDA My Plate, they tell you to eat 5 servings of fruit and vegetables as if kale is the same as a banana. This is just silly. We should not be eating 5 servings of fruits. We should maybe 1 or 2, maybe. Okay. So fructose goes straight to the liver, only organ that can metabolize it, and it didn't hit any of the satiety signals, so you're still hungry. You're making fat in your liver, which makes you raise your triglycerides. It can make you hypertensive. It is the most aging sugar. All these sugars are aging. They do something called glycation. They're all inflammatory. They all feed the bad bacteria in the gut, which we know if we had more bad bacteria in the gut, we store more calories from the food we eat and store it as fat. They also feed the worst cancers. Like fructose feeds the worst cancers of all, but sugar in general are what cancers grow on. So you have that problem. The insulin resistance, of course, leads to hypertension. The sticky blood can lead to strokes and and heart attacks, bad things. The elevated blood sugar and the insulin resistance over time, that continued push on your pancreas to secrete the insulin, can lead to diabetes. The inflammation can lead to osteoarthritis. The other type of diabetes is, of course, now we know, type 3 diabetes or dementia. So in fact, we now know that even if you don't have diabetes outright, if you have elevated blood sugar over time, you will get dementia. So I mean, there's so many things that happen to us, and it's all these pathways that just start with, okay, blood sugar rose, so insulin rose, so leptin became resistant, what happened, and then what happened with the gut microbiome, and then what happens with making fat and fatty liver. I mean, we've got fatty liver now in kids. So it's just cause and effect. You can always follow the pathways to science and see what's going to happen. If you look at it, it was in 1994, we had 26 grams of sugar a year was the average that we were eating, and we were 10% obese. Now we are nearly 35% obese, and we're eating 152 pounds of sugar. I still remember that time because that was the stop the insanity time, when all of a sudden we're supposed to be pulling all the fat out, and we put the fat out and we started eating fat-free. A tablespoon of fat-free dressing has a teaspoon of sugar in it. And of course we pour it on and turn our salad into a sundae because it's fat-free, right? So you look at what's happened, and as we made fat the villain, as we started to lower our fat content, we don't eat too much protein either. So what are you left to eat? If you're eating a low-fat, low-protein diet, there's only one other thing that can be high. It can't be low, right? So, that's what we're seeing now, is just the impact of what sugar does to you. And the initial impact is going to be poor energy, gas and bloating, joint pain. But the long-term impact are all of those diseases, over 70 different diseases directly linked to sugar.